Okay, now next we're going to just talk about the meeting with the EFL. I'm sure everybody in the room knows that Blackpool fans have been offered this meeting. Just to give you a little bit of background, I'm sure you know that as BST we have been trying to negotiate with them and to engage with them for some considerable time, and have pretty much met with a fair bit of arrogance and dismissal. So I don't think it's a coincidence that they suddenly decided they would give us a meeting when we launched the national petition, which is focusing on what they don't do, and when the Tangerine Knights organised a protest outside their headquarters. But whatever the reasons for it, it is a big step forward, because they have now publicly acknowledged that they need to be engaging with supporters, which is something that really they've never got to grips with in the past. It's very important that we make the most of this meeting, because this is our chance to really hold their feet to the fire. And we've done an awful lot of work and research so that we are as well informed as we possibly can be when we get to this meeting. It hasn't been organised in a particularly good way. The date was announced before people were actually asked. I'm sure you've seen on social media, etc., that they gave invitations to BST, to two of the message boards. Since then they've been contacted, and to the Tangerine Knights, of course. Since then they've been contacted by BSA, by the Muckers Group and by the FPG, and have given them invitations as well. They don't really seem to know who does what. I'm very glad to say that AVFTT and the Muckers have asked BST to nominate people. That didn't go down very well either, because the EFL then said that the invitations were non-transferable. I have told them that they are extremely pedantic. So anyway, it doesn't matter, we've got round it, and AVFTT and the Muckers have nominated the people that we would have nominated anyway. So just to let you know, first of all, if anybody wants to know who's going, there will be from BST, AVFTT, Muckers, myself, because obviously chair of BST, Mr Higgins here, who is deputy of chair of BST and also chairs our governance team. Steve Rowland here on my left, who's governance and of course the secretary. We've got Tony Wilkinson, who's on the committee. I don't know how many of you picked up on the fact that Tony has just recently been elected to Supporters Direct Football Council for England and Wales. So well done, Tony, wherever he is in the corner. We will also have Mr Fielding as our legal advisor, and also we've asked Chris Walker. I don't know how many of you know Chris. He is perhaps better known as One Dave Bamber if you go on the boards or on Twitter, and he is our finance and accounting guru. So I think we've sort of got a good team there, and we've got a nice wide range of knowledge. We've got Rob Underdown and Scott Kudelis from the Tangerine Knights. And we have Fiona Martin and Steve Kennedy from BSA. We've had a little meeting prior to this meeting, and we're all very much on the same page. So all I can say to you is that we will do our very best to make the most of this meeting. We still don't know where it will be. They haven't told us. All we know is it's Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We haven't got an agenda or anything like that, so we're going to send in our agenda and see what happens. Now, they also invited two of our local MPs, Gordon Marsden and Paul Maynard. Again, they'd announced the date before they bothered to check with them, and unfortunately, they're both in Westminster, so they can't attend. Paul Maynard is going to send a representative just to listen, basically. Back Henry Street, I think, is Paul Crashley and one other who are coming to observe, I understand. Danny, I don't know Danny, but that's who it's going to be. And my understanding is that the FPG are not available on that evening. It actually clashes with the youth game, so I think that's probably at the root of it. So yeah, as I say, we will do the very best that we can. There's an awful lot that's come out in the news this week, and I'm sure you all read the Guardian article by David Conn, where it transpires that the Premier League did actually ban Owen from owning the club because he fails the fit and proper persons test, but then never bothered to check on it, and then of course we got relegated, so it kind of got forgotten, not their problem anymore. Staggering incompetence, really. So these are all issues that we will be discussing. We will of course be focused on Owen and how the EFL can consider him to be fit and proper, particularly as the Premier League don't consider him to be fit and proper. Also the issues with Valeri, so why has Valeri been banned when Owen wasn't? And of course there is this bigger issue of football governance nationally. We have come a very, very long way as a fan base, really, and that's down to everybody. And the fact that we are now managing to lead the way in the reforms that are required or chasing for the reforms is credit to everybody, because we've been through such a lot, and we must not allow what's happened to us to count for nothing. And on the back of our experiences, we can use that now to push on. We need to protect the game, because at the end of the day, whoever we get, and it might be Valeri, and that's great because we know we can work with him, but it might not. It could be somebody else. Every football club is only one owner away from a potential nightmare, and that needs to change. I don't think we've all really understood that until what's happened to us, and is now happening to other clubs as well. So it's in our own best interest to change football governance. So please, if you haven't signed the petition, I'm sure everybody in this room has signed the petition, but if you haven't, please do so and share it. Just keep sharing it. We've got till August to get to 100,000 signatures. We were at 10,500 at lunchtime. That's a big milestone that we've passed, because at 10,000 signatures the government has to respond, which then of course will get the message out there a bit more, but we've a long way to go, so we need to keep pushing on this. Any questions about the meeting? If anybody has any questions they want to email across, you can email it to me, chairman@blackpoolsupporterstrust.com, and we will try and bring that into the discussions we have. We have got a very a good strategy, I think, ready to go, and we will of course update everybody once it's happened.
You say don't believe what you read in the newspapers. The Premier League really have said that about Owen. Surely you've got the right to invite the Premier League on your side against the EFL.
Well, yeah, it's obviously it's a big discussion that we're going to have. I think it's too late to get them for Tuesday, but I certainly think that the questions need to be asked of them as well, and this is where the whole governance thing will come in. I did actually email Damien Collins at Departure of Culture, Media and Sport about this very issue. Haven't had a response yet, but we are not going to let it go, I can assure you.
You need access to the minutes of that said meeting when they made that decision.
Absolutely, it needs blowing out the water, because it's absolutely shocking what has gone on, and we're not going to let go, I can promise you that.
There's every chance that they're going to try and time us out of this meeting, isn't there? With a bit of flannel at the start and a few selected questions at the end. We don't want that. Why don't we publish what we want to state up front, and the answers we expect up front? We've got nothing to hide. They've got everything to hide.
Very true. I mean, we have published the communications that we've already had with them, and to be honest, a lot of what we're talking about is already in those communications. But yes, I'm going to be emailing them this evening probably with our agenda items, and we're also going to be asking the question, has somebody got somewhere else to be? We don't want Sean Harvey turning around and saying, oh, I've only got an hour. As you say, we just will not be timed out. That's why we've had this meeting already to establish our strategy. I think they wanted us to have the effect to be diluted by having lots and lots of people talking over each other. That's not going to happen.
They actually told us that there was no need to send agenda items, it wouldn't be necessary, but we're going to do it anyway.